So what is sustainability really? Sustainability is one of the most talked about and misunderstood ideas, influencing our choices in Britain and around the world. I'm Khadija and I lead sustainability and responsible business at Lloyds Banking Group. In this video, I'm breaking it all down: the hype, the lingo, the science, and why it actually matters to you. Because sustainability is at the heart of everything: our economy, our financial system, and our country. It impacts the future of our homes, our jobs, and the communities we live in. It really matters. And yes, I promise, no corporate jargon. So let's go back to my first question. What is sustainability? And no, it's not just about climate change, but that's definitely an important component. Put simply, sustainability is about taking care of our natural resources and protecting the planet so that we can secure a future where communities and businesses can thrive. You might hear people talk about the two sides of sustainability. Social sustainability is about making sure we take care of people and communities so that no one is left behind. Supporting a fair financial system, access to affordable housing, healthcare, education, all of which are central to communities. Environmental sustainability, on the other hand, focuses on not damaging the environment we depend on, looking after natural resources like water and diversity of species, and cutting harmful carbon emissions. And the important thing to understand is that these two sides don't sit separately. They show up together in the things that we rely on every day. Take housing, for example. If homes are poorly insulated, that's an environmental issue because they use more energy and create more emissions. But it's also a social one because it means higher bills, colder homes, and could mean people having to choose between heating and other essentials. Or think about transport. Cleaner transport cuts pollution and emissions, but it also affects whether people can get to work, access education, or stay connected to their communities. The same goes for energy or how we produce food. When all these systems aren't sustainable, the pressure just doesn't land on the planet, it lands on people, businesses, and the wider economy too. So sustainability is really about keeping those systems working, not just for today, but for the long term, making sure they're resilient, affordable, and fit for the future. So why does sustainability matter in today's world? Sustainability matters because when our systems start to fail, the impacts are felt everywhere. Put super simply, the choices we make shape the world we live in. If we don't protect natural resources, address inequalities, the risks can have significant consequences for people, for businesses, and for the economy. This could come in the form of stress on food production, leading to inflation, disruption of supply chains that stop businesses from operating, and the effects of extreme weather causing damage and loss of life. Addressing these challenges is why I do this job. I've seen firsthand the impacts that climate change can have and the devastating widespread impacts across people and communities. But I've also seen the successes that businesses are finding in the transition. And that's why I'm committed to guiding and leading national financial institutions, such as Lloyds Banking Group, to use finance as a force for good. When it comes to climate change, it isn't just scientific theory. We are seeing the impacts of physical climate change today. It's your train being canceled because of flooding on the tracks. It's water bills going up after a drought. It's wildfires in Yorkshire. Climate change isn't a future problem. It's already reshaping daily lives in ways we can't ignore. Sustainability is about reducing these risks before they become crises and creating opportunities for a fairer, more resilient future for us all. For businesses, sustainability isn't a nice to have. It's about making sure you're thinking about growth and resilience. It's future-proofing the economy, and ultimately, it's helping Britain prosper. It's about supporting businesses to grow in a way that's good for both their bottom line and the environment. For example, we're helping businesses switch to energy-efficient equipment, which not only reduces their running costs, but also cuts their carbon emissions footprint. By doing this, we're making it easier for businesses to adapt, thrive, and play their part in shaping an economy that delivers prosperity into the future. Businesses that embed sustainable practices can reduce significant risks, cut long-term costs, and stay competitive as markets change. It's opening new opportunities too, like innovation, new income streams, and new jobs in low-carbon industries. And in Britain especially, businesses are navigating fast-moving expectations from customers, regulators, and investors. So sustainability helps businesses prepare for the future. There are some sustainability buzzwords we hear all the time. What does net zero really mean? Essentially, it's not adding more carbon emissions than we remove. Think of it like budgeting. You spend some, but then you balance it out. The UK has a legally binding target to reduce net greenhouse gas emissions to zero by 2050, meaning any remaining emissions are balanced by removing carbon from the atmosphere. At Lloyds Banking Group, we share that ambition. We've committed to achieving net zero across the activities we finance by 2050 or sooner, working alongside customers, government, and the wider market to ensure that this is achieved in a way that complements economic growth. Another thing you'll hear people talk about is the energy transition. But what does it really mean? Essentially, it's the shift away from fossil fuels, which have a negative impact on our natural resources, towards cleaner, renewable energy sources like wind, solar, and hydrogen. For the UK, moving towards a wider set of options for our energy sources means energy security and independence. Just think about it. Having more options means less reliance on a smaller number of sources. It's one of the biggest transformations happening in our lifetime, reshaping how we power everything from our homes and businesses to transport and industry. This touches a huge number of sectors. In practice, it means things like power generation moving to renewables, transport shifting to electric vehicles, buildings becoming more energy efficient, and new jobs emerging in green technology and infrastructure. This isn't simple or quick. It requires investment in new infrastructure, technological innovation, workforce retraining, and careful planning to ensure the transition is fair and inclusive. Communities that have historically relied on fossil fuel industries need meaningful support and new opportunities. So what does a financial services institution like Lloyds Banking Group have to do with all of this? As the UK's largest financial services provider, we have a responsibility and a real opportunity to help Britain transition to a low-carbon, more inclusive economy. Transitions take time, and we're aware that there is a lot to do. At Lloyds, our role is to finance the transition. That means helping households and businesses invest in changes that set us up for a sustainable future. We focus on 4 key areas where we can make the biggest difference. First, financing more efficient homes and buildings. Second, backing renewables and low-carbon energy. Third, helping scale low-carbon transport like electric vehicles and transport infrastructure. And fourth, farming and food that is sustainable for the long term. As the biggest lender to the UK agricultural sector, we're supporting farmers to switch to more sustainable farming practices. It can be costly for farmers to transition, so our agricultural transition finance helps farmers overcome these barriers. It's been a real high point in my career to see the impact we have on the ground, particularly around innovative financial products. This finance enables farmers to focus on areas that matter the most to them. For example, they can invest in improving soil health, helping to protect their yields for the long term while enhancing nature. This loan is part of Lloyds' broader purpose strategy and part of our plan to make over £35 billion of new finance available in 2026 for companies operating and investing in the UK. Since 2022, we have provided more than $70 billion in sustainable finance, including $22 billion in 2025. That's specifically aimed at supporting environmental and social outcomes, like retrofitting homes, clean energy, or helping businesses transition. And we don't do this alone. We work with partners like the Woodland Trust and the Soil Association Exchange, supporting what's happening on the ground to restore and protect nature. For me, sustainability is about building a future that works for people, for businesses, and for the UK as a whole. At Lloyds Banking Group, that's what we mean by helping Britain prosper, supporting the transition to a more sustainable and inclusive economy. If you'd like to explore these topics in more depth, you can find more videos on our channel. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date.